Welcome back to Power Cave Training. Today I want to talk a little bit about goal setting. I've talked about it before, and then there's things that I've done in the past that have worked, and there's some that didn't. So what I want to talk about today is I set 3 goals at the beginning of this summer season, spring season. I set the 2 of the 3 last year, and although I wrote them down and I wrote steps, I never got done. I always had excuses of what was hurting and what I didn't have. And so this year, I didn't write them down, but I committed to them day one from the day I set those goals. And the 3 goals were to ride a bike a lot further than I had before. So I've been up to 4 or 5 miles. Used to be able to lucky to ride a mile or a half mile without my legs getting sore. And I wanted to ride with my great-granddaughter. She's now 8 and has learned, pretty good on a bike, and she's going faster, so she likes to go further, so I want to be able to do that with her. My second goal was to do a reverse lunge, which used to kill my knees, and I've set up a program on how to do that, and basically that one was all these were to increase my mobility, and I scoured the internet looking for mobility courses. I've watched tons of YouTube videos, and I bought a course on it, and I applied it. Right away I started doing them, and I was having problems with my hip and my thighs being very tight. My knees would get sore once in a while, and on this hand my finger was swelled and my wrist was completely swelled up, and so just to take a lid up or pick up a jar was hard. So I started doing all these hard mobility exercises, and they've worked. My hands probably 85% better. My third goal was to run sprints because I had read that most people after 35 years of age never run another sprint in their life. My goal at 73 was to run sprints. So I set up the program. So the mobility program got my whole body ready to do it. I started running a little bit when I would be walking, just to get used to the movement a little bit. And then I ran around my drive. I have a circular driveway. I ran sprints around that one night and found out that my cardio was pretty bad, and my muscles hurt, especially my rear end hurt a lot. So I waited another week, and then I went up to the local football field and I set cones. I started at 20 yards and then did a sprint, 2 sprints at 20, 1 at 25, 1 at 30, 1 at 35, and 1 at 40. And after I did 1 at 40, excuse me, I thought, well, I could probably film this thing just to prove I did it. So I went and got my camera, and the first 2 times I filmed it, one, the camera was facing the wrong way when I ran it. Second one, I fell over and it was filming the sky. And then the third one got a little bit of it. I'm hoping to bring a tripod with to do it again this week, at least run a couple so I can see how I look on it, because you don't get improved without seeing how your form is. I surprised myself. My legs held up. I had sore thighs for about 3 or 4 days, and my left calf tightened up a little bit. But when you set a goal, it has to be committed to your heart. You have to decide, now I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait a year. And what are the steps I'm going to get? You have to complete the goal, but you have to start the goal. And the goal is to get some mini steps along the way. Mine was basically mobility, and I still wanted to lift fairly heavy, but I lifted it a lot of different ways than I have in the past. A lot more carries and outdoor stuff and carrying rocks and stuff like that to get my body used to doing things I hadn't done for a long time. And then stretching and mobility work was a lot more often than it had been in the past. The problem when people get old, and people that are young don't believe me, but when you get older, there's things that happen. You either live in the past, you cling to the past, or you live in the present and try to do the best you can, or you do your best in the present and then plan for the future. I don't live in the past. And it's funny when I go somewhere and somebody will say, we talk about weightlifting, because that's usually that'll get brought up. And I was 71 when I set a world record, and people ask me how much I lifted. I lifted, and I tell them, and they go, well, I was doing more of that in high school. So I always think, you're comparing high school 50 years ago to a 73-year-old man, and somehow that justifies you not doing anything all the time. Most of the people that criticize you or can't understand why you do it, they never would understand it. So these become personal things you do, and nothing should interfere with that. Nobody should stop you. I never say never. I always say I'm not going to quit, and when God finally tells me it's done, it'll be done. So a little bit about that, why you should set goals, why it's so important. And so today I went out and I walked for 3 miles, and then I just came home. This is now 8 o'clock at night. Just finished doing a workout with my mobility workout, and then Indian club, heavy Indian clubs, and a 10-pound mace belt. So I hope this helps. One thing you have, if you don't have goals, you're dying. And most people, when they retire to eating crappy food, traveling around, sitting on their butt watching TV, and wondering why they can't function. And they wait till they get cancer or something and don't realize that all the things they've done has led up to that. So the best thing you do is stay active, stay mobile. And if you like this, share it. If you hit the subscribe button, you can see more of these. And I hope to see you next time on Power Cave Training. Thanks.